Before we get into discussion of this topic, I just want to set the agenda. So today we're going to talk about importance of the test automation for the web applications. So we will discuss different challenges which typical traditional automation, scripted automation is facing. We will discuss about solutions on web app automation relating to UiPath and how UiPath Studio actually overcome those challenges in a scriptless automation way. And we're going to do a live demonstration. We're going to showcase to you how we can build scriptless automation scripts relating to the registration functionality and walk you through this. And then we'll leave some time for questions and answers to address any of your questions. So before we jump into the first agenda topic, I just want to take you back 23 years back when I started my journey as a quality assurance engineer. So when I started 23 years back, I faced first, introduction of the automation through a tool which called WinRunner. Some of you probably heard of it. Some of you, again, I don't know how many of you guys are being around at that time, but the WinRunner was the Mercury interactive tool. It was very popular at that time. WinRunner 5.0 version. I still remember this is the first tool which I get my hands dirty on the automation. And the interesting part was that it was a pretty cool tool back then. It was based on the recording and playback initially. So it was pretty simple. Click the button, record the script, get the script, and then you have to enhance the script. That was sort of my way of experiencing this tool. Obviously, recording was not just the only option at that time. In order to enhance and improve the scripts, you have to understand some coding behind. And at that time, it was based on the C-like language, programming language. So after some time, I felt that there's got to be a much more simpler tool out there, which really does not require you to do a heavy lifting programming. Again, I personally, didn't like programming myself. That's the reason I didn't go to development, and I choose my career to be a QA tester. The coding was not something which I was super excited with. And for many years, when I leveraged WinRunner, then I started using UFT, Unified Functional Test. All along, I was dreaming about a tool which will provide more simplistic way of building scripts, which will not require heavy lifting coding, heavy lifting object-oriented programming, knowledge and background. Probably 10 years ago, when I started QA Mentor, actually 11 years ago, we start meeting various of different companies who built various of different product in the scriptless automation domain. So there were a number of products back then, and there continuously to be a number of products out there which using scriptless automation principles. Overall, in general, when we evaluated the products, scriptless automation tools, we always had some challenges because there were a number of limitations in all of those products. A number of limitations where certain things are not there, certain handling is not there, certain abilities such as database verification and validation, so checkpoint were not there implemented. So there was a lot of obstacles really to start implementation and implementation of the real automation testing. 2 years ago, when we were evaluating various of different organizations, because we are, were at the acquisition mode, we met one step ahead, very energetic young organization based in Mumbai. And when we had deep dive discussion, they mentioned that they leveraging and using UiPath tool for UiPath Studio, specifically for robotics automation as well as for traditional automation. And when we get our team to evaluate the tool, because at that time I have no idea about UiPath, we evaluated a bunch of other scriptless automation tool, but not specifically UiPath. From that moment, when we saw a number of demonstration, when we saw a number of implementations, I really fell in love with this tool in terms of, rich set of features and capabilities which this platform offers. Ability to cover mobile automation, web automation, API automation, client server desktop automation, and backup database backend automation, all within the same platform, knowing the same techniques of the tools. That was something which was truly amazing. So the decision was to acquire one step ahead this organization in order to offer more capabilities to various of different customers and clients around the world who are looking for specifically scriptless automation. Scriptless automation, it's in demand nowadays. Many organizations nowadays possess no object-oriented programming background when it comes to multiple QA departments around the world who do not have the skill set. At the same time, many quality assurance engineers and professionals wants to contribute towards building the automation, and tools such as UiPath provide that capabilities, provide that abilities. You would not believe how many organizations we talk to, and they're looking for simplistic, simplified solutions out there because either they don't have budget to hire expensive automation engineers, or simply they want everybody in their team to be involved in the automation. So that's why I'm trying to emphasize that it's not just any other tool out there like a car. You have this types of car, that type of car, right? The purpose of the car is to take you from point A to point B. With this experience, and I relate this and I have this analogy specifically, I feel that this tool is equivalent to a Tesla out there, right? Tesla. Why Tesla? Why not Lamborghini or Ferrari or Mercedes? It's because it's really creates the comfortable feeling for you, for anybody per se, who will be driving this car or leveraging this tool. In my analogy, that it's absolutely easy to use. It's tremendously quick in understanding and getting up to speed. We have number of surveys conducted within our employees pool. We have number of focus group created where we have UiPath automation engineers versus Selenium Java engineers in terms of building knowledge and training and grasping things. And the UiPath gives you a much quicker turnaround time. Believe it or not, after the training, a person who learned the UiPath, and actually we have trainings, three weeks training, which we conduct, the person is ready to start generating script, building scripts and automation literally after 4 to 5 weeks, okay? In Selenium Java, for instance, we also providing trainings, and we also training, people around the world. The person, after 4.5 months of training, it requires another 2 months of training of, getting your hands dirty on the applications. And it's about, 6 to 7 months when you feel comfortable. The same feeling you get in UiPath within, as I mentioned, within 4 to 6 weeks. So, the speed of getting somebody up to speed on the platform itself, it's tremendous with this tool. So that's the reason why, we kind of concentrating nowadays more and more to offer scriptless automation services to various of different clients around the world. This is where we see the best value and the best ROI generated. This is where we see no dependencies whatsoever on automation gurus who many organizations have, and they preying on them that, if they leave, what's going to happen? How are we going to survive with automation if some of the key automation engineers leaves the organization? UiPath does not have these types of dependencies. You actually can train, as I mentioned before, anybody very quickly, very fast, and get up to speed. And the beautiful thing about UiPath is that every single manual tester, quality assurance engineer who previously were not involved or afraid to be involved with automation because of lack of knowledge or lack of expertise and experience in programming or scripting background, now in a position to contribute. And it's a really great feeling when everybody can contribute within the team to create automation scripts, to contribute towards building regression testing, a repository, and converting manual test cases into the automation script. So that's the beauty, that's the idea of this tool. And I'm very happy that the market finally found this magic tool, which I call, which simplify the way of doing automation. Because again, you really don't need to be a programmer to build complex, complicated automation scripts. And the whole purpose of testers is to simplify and leverage easy tools to speed up your day-to-day activities, to speed up your regression testing cycles, right? To come up with a very quick turnaround on some specific scripts, which needs to be generated or created for verification, validation purposes, right? That's the whole point of it. So let's jump in. I don't want to bore you with more discussions about why we are so excited to leverage this UiPath tool. Let's see this tool in action. Let's talk a little bit about what those capabilities are, which simply overcoming the typical challenges of traditional automation. So why do we need automation for web applications, right? The major reason is obviously it helps to accelerate time to market, right? We have the business pressure. Everybody tries to release their new releases, their new sprints, their new applications out there for the customers, so they can start generating revenue. They can start serving customers and clients with additional capabilities. So time to market is crucial. And for that reason, Agile was invented, right, to give a much quicker turnaround time on smaller chunks of deliverables. Because back in the days, again, with the waterfall approach, as you all know, it took 6 months to implement something, right? And within that 6 months implementation, there was a room for testing, and there was a room for automation inside that testing verification. Nowadays, 2-week sprints, 3-week sprints, in some cases, 1-week sprints. How can you, apply automation within such a short period of time, right? You need to act and react very quickly, very fast. So the time to market is crucial, and UiPath, probably the best tool out there, which can help you to achieve those, time to market goals. How can you sustain and automate something in sprint, right? Obviously, traditional automation tools, Selenium, Java, Test Complete, RunnerX, Unified Functional Test, also applicable, but we found that it's much, quicker to achieve quicker turnaround time in maintenance of existing scripts, as well as in the implementation of the new scripts, comparing to a traditional automation, scripted automation way, right? The other big aspect is mobile and cross-browser compatibility testing, right? Nowadays, the modern applications are compatible across the board. We have users around the world leveraging and utilizing different devices, different browsers, operating systems, some of them using legacy mobile devices, some of them using latest mobile devices. How to assure that the web-based applications are certified and accommodating all of these different browsers and mobile compatibility mode through the proper automation, through the execution on different browsers and operating systems and mobile devices. You have to be able to structure and construct your automation scripts, which will run across the platforms. That's extremely, extremely important. Not just run this on Chrome browser or be able to support only iOS operating system, right? And iOS phones. So that's the way where UiPath come handy with the compatibility modes for cross-browser testing and mobile application testing. Ensuring API testing, extremely important area, and we'll have additional sessions on API, so I don't want to touch base or spend a lot of time on the API testing, but it's extremely important. And that's actually the initial in the pyramid. If you remember, there's the top layer of the starting point for 80 types of validations or verification. You're starting from the API layer. Faster regression execution cycles and health checks, right? And it's not only applicable specifically to scriptless automation, it's applicable to all the automations, right? Regression testing is the key. You're repeating multiple cycles. Nowadays, we're supporting a number of organizations where they have 6 deployments in QA within a day. 6 deployments. Imagine 6 deployments. We have 8 hours a day, and we have 6 deployments. So almost every hour, they pushing code, they deploying things, they fixing defects. How you can sustain such a quick deployment process, right? Implementation. You need to sustain this through the automation, right? So you need to be ready to start regression testing cycles. Every time you get a new drop, new build, you have to be ready and support this, right? Just think of a 2 weeks sprint, right? You have user stories, bunch of user stories as part of the sprint, right? You need to be able to automate them, because why? Because at the end of the sprint, you have to run that regression testing. Not only regression testing of your existing functionalities, which were carrying on from the previous sprints, but regression testing now on the new functionalities, which were developed in this particular release. It becomes regressed, right? So on the last day of sprint, extremely important to be able to build that automation scripts to represent that user stories. It's crucial to maintain existing scripts so you can leverage them and run that regression test suite, so your scripts will not fail because it requires maintenance, but it will fail if it will. All right, so we were discussing, about a quick turnaround time within the sprint automation, how important it is to be able to sustain the maintenance mode, which is only possible really when you have a mature framework, and the scriptless automation, which we will discuss why and how it's possible. So let's talk about some of the challenges in the web automation with scripting or scripted automation, right? So the most common challenges, and probably there's a bunch of guys here on the call who are automation engineers, and you tried automation one way or another using a traditional automation, scripted automation tool such as Selenium, or or runner X or test complete or unified functional test or some other platforms and technologies. So the most common problems are handling pop-up windows, right? There's multiple pop-up windows coming up, and then your script is not able to handle, and it's typically failed because it sees some unpredictable or unrecognizable window, right? So you need to do a special handling there, handling synchronization issues. As a matter of fact, handling synchronization issues, it's a very common problem. Back in the days when I ran automation departments in Fortune 500 companies, that was a very, very typical and common problem. Why your script fail? Well, there's a synchronization problem. Why there's a synchronization problem? I don't know. There's some application delays. There's some application is very slow and the network is very slow. Well, but that's excuse, right? You have to have a special handling. How do you handle synchronization problem? Or by the way, let's add the wait statement there. Let's wait for 30 seconds, and that will solve the problem. Well, guess what? If you're going to wait 30 seconds at every line of code which you created or at any validation point, then we're going to wait 24 hours for one script to be executed, right? I mean, is that the right approach? Is that the right way? Absolutely not. So how do we handle synchronization issues and problems? And we'll talk about this because UiPath has a beautiful feature for that, specifically handling dynamic elements, object capturing, data scrapping. Again, very challenging exercise, which typically is required, and a lot of problems, issues I'm seeing handling this in the traditional automation way. Writing code to automate UI elements. I mean, there's a lot of objects which very often your scripts are not getting recognized, right? And that's where the failure takes place, and you have to basically define those custom objects within the applications with certain properties definition, which for some reason the script fails at that point, right? So again, we see this very often in traditional automation. Not straightforward install and configuration browser drivers, and then end-to-end automation without interfaces. When we talk about the other applications or interactions with upstream and downstream systems, and sometimes having different programming languages behind the applications create some unrecognized objects within the applications, and that creates failures for the applications, right? So those are the most common challenges which we see based on our experience handling various of different scripted technologies when it comes to automation. So let's talk about solutions and for the web automation using UiPath Test Suite, and I'll introduce Amit, who was our senior technical architect in automation using UiPath Studio, and he will take you through some of the interesting solutions and capabilities and features which UiPath platform offers to overcome those common challenges which we just discussed. So go ahead, Amit.
Thanks, Ruslan, for these giving the why we are struggling with the web automation with traditional tools and sharing your experiences, thoughts. So it's really helpful for the community to understand why it's time to now switching in the scriptless test automation tool with the UiPath Test Suites. Thanks for that. So yeah, so as Ruslan has discussed about different challenges which we are getting with the traditional scripting test automation. So how those challenges, we have a solution with the UiPath Test Suite, which is scriptless test automation. So most, the UI Explorer app and dynamic selector, that's the first solution which we have, which is the robust solution. So whenever you're looking forward the robust test automation script, which is should not getting failure, right? And whatever kind of your objects elements are there, right? It should be getting captured. Doesn't matter your web application has been built up in a whatever technology, it's in a PHP, it's in Python, or it's in a Ajax, or in JavaScript. So whatever technology it has been built up, or AngularJS, right? So the elements, each and every object's element, it should get automated. But this is the where which we are struggling in traditional automation to capture those elements with the text fields, with the drop-down fields, with the uh, check boxes. So lots of UI elements are there, right? So there we are struggling. But in UiPath, using the UI Explorer app, there's UI Explorer app is there. We're using this application. We can easily indicate those elements whichever we wanted to be see that. So definitely in the practical now in next slide I will show you how practical we can go. We can indicate different elements, right? And those selector also you can do a dynamic way, so you can handle those HTML properties. Those are continuously getting changed, so you can handle it dynamically, so it will never get changed. And your automation should a script should get be stable, right? So that we'll see. So this is using this UI Explorer app and these different dynamic strategies. We can handle our objects very properly and dynamically. Second thing, as Ruslan has talked about, the synchronization between the different pages or applications or browsers, right? Or navigating from one page to another page, so or one calling one APIs and displaying some data. So different page loads event has been happening whenever we are dealing with the web applications, right? So obviously we need a dynamic delays. The delays are is very important part whenever to handle those kind of synchronizations or page load handling, right? So in UiPath, right, there is a dynamic delays concept is introduced. So every activity we have the interactive delays, complete delays. It will wait for unless until your complete page is not getting load. Till the time it will wait. So let's say you have given a delay for 30 seconds and I mean less than 30 seconds in 10 seconds your element is appearing, so it will performing the necessary actions and it will goes on. So it doesn't there's no hard delays. So depending upon the
Amit, sorry guys, I think we have some internet issues from Amit's side. Let me check. Sorry guys, Amit is joining back. Yeah.
you can see me, right? Deepak, you can
Yes.
see my screen.
Yes. Yes. You can continue.
Yeah, sorry for disconnections. So the data, so I was talking about the data extraction part. So in the data extractions, whenever we need to extract the data with the tabular data, with non-tabular data, so whatever kind of data which we have, we need to be extracted. So in UiPath, very easy, within less than a minute, we can extract the whatever type of data we wanted. We can extract very easily using data extraction methods and activities. Yes, absolutely. It's a no code automate. So any UI element, right? So let's say if you want to handle the input box, or if you want to handle the drop down or click method. So all these UI element, you don't need to write to any particular specific code, right? The same we are writing in the Selenium or other tool. All these kind of web driver code we need to be understand. Then we can use it here. All these activities are already available, right? We just have to use it. So it's a drag and drop. Everything is available. We just have to use as per the step has been mentioned in our test case. Okay. So there's a no code automation which we have here. Set up the browser extension. It's very easy over here because whenever we are to interact in automation with the different browsers, let's say web for the Chrome, Mozilla, or Firefox, right? So their plugins or their drivers are important to be set up, right? So here it is available itself in the UiPath. So we just have in a one single click we can enable those extension and we can interact. The UiPath can interact with your browsers over here. Okay, so it's very easy to set up the browser extensions in UiPath Studio. the packages. So let's say if I want to do the web automations or Excel automation or email automation, so I need a set of the drivers or the packages, right? So in UiPath, those are packages are by default available. So we don't need to go and additionally need to add any other drivers or plugins or any other libraries or jar files need to be installed over here. It is already available, those packages, it's pre-default available, so we can easily work on those packages. And apart from that, if you need any other packages, then you can be adding through the UiPath packages options. Okay, and yeah, so whenever if you're looking forward this smooth and seamless end-to-end automation, interacting with different interfaces, different third-party applications, or lots of end-to-end scenario, your business-driven scenario, right? Then we need a stability is very important. So you can easily automate those kind of scenario using UiPath. So let's say you're interacting from the one browser application, then it's logging out, and again it's interacting another third-party applications or with APIs or with mobiles, right? So you can easily switch on, switch off from one application to another application, one tab to another tab, also very smoothly. So all this end-to-end automation with different interfaces, you can easily achieve through the UiPath Test Suite web automation capabilities. Okay, so let's go to the demonstration now. Okay, we have talked about lots of the UiPath test suites, how we can handle. So let's see the demonstration of the some use cases. So we have the registration functionality test case, right? So let me go to my screen now on the UiPath Studio. So this is the UiPath Studio tool. Okay, so UiPath, as in the last session, Deepak has already mentioned about the UiPath have the four components. One, UiPath Studio to develop your test cases. Then UiPath Robot to execute your test cases. Then Orchestrator to execute your test cases, your test sets, and the Test Manager to the integrate with the different ALM tools. Right. So these are the four components in UiPath Test Suite which we have. So let's see in UiPath Studio how we can develop those test cases and how we can run those test cases as well. So this is the UiPath Studio. So as I mentioned, all these are the by default activities are there. If I want to Excel automation, all the dependency are required. So Excel automations activities are available for email automation. For the system desktop automation, UI web related, we need a UI automation or activities, these plugins, right? For testing activities, for testing any assertions or verifications or testing activities. So all these plugins are available very easily. We just have to use it. Regarding to set up the communicate with your browsers, right? Extension need to be configured. So you can see in a tool section, UiPath extensions are there. We just have to click on install button. Right now it's already installed, so it's showing uninstalled. So just have to same like this plugin. Just click on install for this browser, and it can be a configured the extension with respect to Chrome, Firefox, and Edge browser. So there's no need to be set up the browser's driver on different ways. It can be easily available. And the test cases, I have already created 2 test cases. Okay, so we can run for those test cases. Then we see in detail how I have developed those test cases and how we can perform the UI automation as well. Okay, so let me run the test cases now. So you can see the UiPath robot is there, right? So this is the registration functional test case where entering the first name, last names, and the email ID, whatever given, right? And then, yeah. So the first test case, the registration successfully done, right? So that in this way we can easily automate it, the registration functionality flow as well. With the positive, with the negative, with the validation also, you can easily automate it, those kind of things in UiPath Studio. If you want to do a cross-browser testing with the multiple validation messages you want to check out, so that also you can easily automate those kind of test cases for the web application. So these are a sample application, a matrix alert, where we have seen the registration functionality of the test cases. So let's see the execution results now. So in UiPath Studio, in the console log, you can see those verification results. So every step we have given the verification point or assertion. So in the console panel, you can see these verification. So whatever steps has been passed, so it can show in the past. Okay. So, and the execution time, whatever time it will require to perform the execution, that also you can show here very properly. So these are our test cases, right? So this is a TC01 for the registration flow and entire code, right from the taking the test data from the Excel sheet and to automating every steps. You can see over here, right? So here, and all these activities are there in the UI part directly. We just have to drag and drop. We can use it. So this is the activity basically. So if you want to automate the web application, you can use the use browser application browser activity. If you have to type something, you can use type into activity. If you click something, you can use a click activity. So all these plugins, all these activities are available as per the our requirement. We just have to drag and drop and use it. And the most important, it's most important, we can see the object repository, right? So here we have the object repository. So whatever the objects are we are capturing, right, those we can configure in the this object repository. So it can store all your objects, and whenever you want to use these objects and different test cases, you can directly go and you can use it over here. So here in step one, type first name, these objects we have already created over, we just drag and drop over here and we can use it. So in this first name, I need to in different test cases, so I can quickly drag and drop it and I can use it. And every steps you can see that. So every steps what the locator is there that we are indicating over here. Then what kind of data we need to pass, that also we are passing over here. And what is the verifications items are there, whatever assertions are there. So we can also check in those assertions as well, right? And so every step very systematically, you can see that the action need to be performed, the data need to be passed, and their verification point. So all these steps, all these things are one by one has been added very properly. So we can see that. So here for the registration, we have the seven steps are there, filling all the forms, and then click on the register button. Yeah. So this is a way of a registration test case which we have. Similar, we have the second test case for the let's say of forgot password, right? So here also we can do that same thing. Yeah, so you can click on forgot password and it is entering the email ID, and then click on request button. So here this test case will get failed now here because this functionality is not working properly. So you can see that the verification failed over here. So though steps are passed, we can see the pass, but for the last one, it is after submitting the correct email ID, still application having issues. So intentionally we fail the test cases, but you can see the verification point, it is getting failure over here. So in this way, very easily you can run your script and you can see that the failure as well, right? And so this is one way you can see your execution logs here in the UiPath Studio. Similar way, if you want to run your test case from the orchestrator. So this is the orchestrator, which we can see that where we can deploy whatever test cases which we are generating here over here. So we can publish in the orchestrator. We can publish those test cases, and this orchestrator has connected over here for the studio, and we can see all these packages, all this code. So whatever code we are publishing, it is treating as a package in the orchestrator, right? So for every project, we need to create a package. So we can see that, and whatever the code we have published as of, so different versions has been created. So you can see several versions already created, and this is currently active versions are there 0.5. Okay. So in this way, you can see that whatever the code which we have changes, so those version controls also you can see over here. Okay, so and in that testing tab, we can see the test cases, right? So we can, so there are two test cases already added over here. One for the registration function, second for the forgot password functionality, and there we can see their test executions. What number of time, whatever test execution we have done several iterations. So all the iteration of the test execution. We can see that. So let's say in this demo web, in this iteration, the test case has been passed. So if you want to see the result, we can go over here and details, we can see the results. Okay, so this is the first test case, it was there. And if you want to see that what are the results for this test case, go and view assertions, and So every step, so it's verifying the first name, enter or not. So this is a screenshot. We can also see that, right? Then second step, enter the last name. So this is the assertion which we are giving the enter last name, enter or not. So so that assertion checked. That's why it's showing the green color tick mark over here. And if you want to see the screenshot, we can click over here. We can see the screenshot as well. So every steps we have given the assertions, and those assertion has been checked. That's why it's showing the green color bar over here, and those screenshots so we can see properly, right? So one by one, enter the password. So it's entered the password, enter the confirm password. So it's enter the confirm password. Click on verify the click on agree button. So it's clicked on agree button as well. And verify successful registrations. We're getting successful registration pop-up message as well. So all the steps has been successfully passed. All the verification point has been successfully covered, right? So 7 assertions was given, and right, and all 7 assertions have been checked properly. So that's why this test case 1 is getting passed, right, without any failure. So we can see over here, similar way, if you want to see that the execution logs for the failure test case. So let me show one failure test case over here. Yeah, so let's say it's test case number 2, it's failed. Yeah, so click on forward password. So yeah, there then verify the email IDs, right? And the one failure is there, verify the request. So this failure, it's there, right? So it's not able to perform this very assertion or these steps successfully. So that's why it's getting failed. So in this way, in UiPath, you can see that the all the execution details very easily, right? In orchestrator, you can deploy your test cases in orchestrator. It can be run in a unattended mode, right, on your virtual machines or desktop machines, right, whatever you have, and without any human intervention. If you schedule those test cases or those test sets, it can be run easily and in a runtime, right? So let's say in particular one of the virtual machine, your execution is going on and you want to monitor how many test cases pass and fail. So here in this orchestrator, you can easily monitor how many tests has been passed, how many assertion has been passed and failed. So all these logs you can get with the execution time and data as well, right? So in this way, we can easily track those things very properly. So we will cover much about the reporting and orchestration management in our upcoming session. So today we are most focusing now web automation now again, right? So let's see the web automations more in detail now. Okay, how if you're freshly now starting the web automation or trying to automate any applications, how we can start it now. So let's start from the scratch now. Okay, so let's say if you in UiPath, if you wanted to be do any web automation or some you automate something, right? So here you have to be first create a new sequence. So just can create a new sequence, and whatever sequence name you can give your sequence name. So let's now automate now Facebook registration. Okay, so B registration. Okay, sign up Facebook. Okay, like this form. So I can give the sequence name as a FB sign up. Okay. So this is whenever in UiPath you're doing any kind of automation, you first either you create a sequence or flow chart. So we are doing the test case automation sequentially. We need to execute all the steps. So we are preferring the sequence only. Okay. Now we have to be launch the applications or web application or launch the browsers. Okay. So for that we have the activities. So this is the activity panel, right? So we have you can use application browser. So this activity which we can use application browser, we can simply just drag and drop it over here. I'm not writing any kind of code to use to launch my browser. You can see that you can just drag and drop it over here, right? Now it asking indicate the application to automate it, which application you want to automate it. So I already launch my application over here, right? I can just indicate it, right? So just click on indicate and select here. So you can see the inspection is going on. So it's selecting and it's capturing the browser URL, right? So this is my web application which I need to automate. It can be easily configured here. And if you want to highlight the target screen, so you can, so it's to just check we are capturing the correct applications or not, or correct URL or not. Okay, so for this is the first step, right, to open the browsers, right, and enter the URL. Okay. The next one is, let's say now I have to enter the first name, right? So first name, it's a text box, right? So text box, we need to be provide the input. Okay, so this is the behavior of this field. Okay, it is a text field. I need to provide the input. So whenever we need to provide the any input in the UiPath, right? We can use the activity type into. Okay, this activity we just have to be used. You can search type into, because we have to type something, right? So under keyboard, and this input method, it's come under the keyboard categorized. It's a UI automation part, and it's a element, right? And it's element with the mouse or keyboard, it is categorized. Yes, it's a keyboard, because we're typing something with the keyboard. That's why using type into activity, and I can just drag and drop it over here. Simple. I just drag and drop it over here, and again it asking, right, indicate the element on the screen. So I can go and I can indicate the element. I type it over here simply. Okay, so the one another way of type into which we can use, which is a modern now. So this modern type into we can use. So it's giving the different selected dynamic ways. So let me use it same to indicate it first name. So you can see that we are talking about the dynamic selector. So it's given a strict selector, fuzzy selector, and image-based selectors, right? So whenever you're struggling not able to automate, you can go image selectors. So currently we don't need to image selector. We can go with the fuzzy selectors, right? And something you want to be, let's say, modified. So you can use open in UI Explorer. So this is a UiPath app is there where we can modify our selector. So just click open in UI Explorer. So yes, so in UI Explorer, you can see now all the HTML properties regarding this particular page and element it's showing now. And now it's up to you. Whichever property we want to use, we can use very properly, easily now. So let's say I'm going with the area label first name, so I can select it, I can check it, right? And again, I want to validate whatever this item I've selected it's correct or not. So I can just click on valid button, right? And it's indicated in a green, so it means it's validated. But again, I need to confirm whether whatever I'm looking the first name I'm looking forward, same thing is there or not. I need to highlight it. So I just click on highlight. So yes, it's showing correctly, right? So it means my selector is properly. So you can see that very easily. I can go, I can indicate my selector, I can modify my selector, I can validate, and I can highlight, right? Within a same flow, right? And I can just click on save button. That's it. So once we save it, we confirm. That's it. My selector is captured for the first name, and whatever the data I need to be, I need to pass as the input. So I can pass over here. Let's say, so whatever input value we need pass over here, we need to put in double quote. So I can say on double quote, let's say Amit. Okay. And these input you can pass to the variable as well. You can pass the input to the Excel sheet as well. So that's not a problem. But here now I'm just directly passing to the value from directly within activity. Okay, so before typing, right? So many of time whenever we entering something, if some data is already by default it is there, we need to clear those field as well. We need to make field as empty, so that also we don't write any code. So it's property. So by default it's there, right? Empty field before typing. So this property is already given within this activity, and it's already single line. So and if it's none, it means it's not be a clear your field. So by default, it's clearing your field. It's mentioned whatever single lines are there or multi lines are there, depending on it will clear. So by default, it's enabled. So here again is a good point. We don't write any separate code to make the field as empty before you're typing something. Or sometimes some objects before or for the focusing, right? Before we are typing something, we need to click there, and then the focus will appear, and then we can type, right? So that also by default, the click before typing, this activity is there. So we want to click or single or double, whatever we can select it. So again, for these particular things to handling my particular UI element, I don't need to write any specific code, right? Same thing we are talking about in slides. So in a traditional automation, scripting automation, so automating those UI element behavior, right? We need to write the code over here, right? But here again, we don't need to write any code. Symbol, the properties are available. Everything is given by the UI path. So as per our the UI elements behavior or handling or whatever thing we required, we can use it simply, right? So this is the way the UI path. We don't need to write any scripting and coding. We just have to understand which kind of the activities and property are there. That knowledge we need to take care. That's it. Okay. So simply, so here we don't write anything, so just keep it as it is. So that's it. And you can see the properties, all the different properties for this particular over here, right? So we are talking about the delay as well, dynamic delay. So this is the wait for page load. So it is interactive and complete. So unless until the complete page is not loaded, it should not be go ahead. So it can be, you can apply the delay. If you want to apply the delay before performing this activity or after performing this activity also, so to handle the synchronization ways, right? So you can also put the delay. So by default, it's 0.3 second delay is already there default time. If you want to increase, you can just go and you can type add your more delays over here, right? And so this is the way, right? If you want to handle the responsive websites, we can just check it. You can handle the responsive website as well. Okay. Yeah. So this is the first part, right? To be handling your text box using type into activity. Okay. So let's see the your next field is surname, right? So again, surname is a text input, right? We are text field. So again, I can use the type into. So this type into we can use. So again, I need to indicate it over here. I can indicate now. So it's searching the selectors and yeah, it is done. So we can confirm again. So again, I need to put the surname, just given surname now. That's it. So let's skip these two text fields. Let's see now how to handle the drop down now. Okay. So I have to handle the drop down. So again, so drop down, it's there's one activity select item. The select item activity which we need to use to handle the drop down values. We can indicate, let's say they are this, so let's say this month drop down we need to be handled. So again, just confirm. And we can select the month, whatever we require. Let's say March. Okay. And let's say check items. So here I'm just taking the example of handling different UI element. So how easy we can handle those with the UI path. Okay. So to just show you capabilities, those things, right? So first I have taken the use case text box. Second I have taken the drop down select item you can use for the drop down values, and third one check boxes are there, or check we have to check those either gender male or female. So how to handle the check box? So for that check activity is also available in UiPath. So you can just use check or uncheck, as per our need we can use it. So it's given action either check or uncheck, or it's toggling whenever we have to sometimes toggle as well. So we can use it simple. So let me indicate, let's mail. So I can just have indicated those things. Confirm. Right, and it can be a check over here. Okay, so let's run it now. Okay. So we can just close it. So I just want to run this particular file. Okay, so I can select this file and just run the file. So it will also launch the application now. So we can maximize as well. That's not a problem. So you can see that in very fast, it's launched the application and it can perform all the action. So let me run again. Okay, so now we want to resize the window so we can maximize, restore, or minimize. So let's maximize it, and let's see now the execution once again. So it's launched, it's maximized, entering the first name now, surname, then selecting the year and the checking the we can say that gender. So in very fastly, you can see that automation execution has been done. So in 8 seconds, you can see that in 8 seconds, very fastly, the execution has been done, right? And I don't think so it will take more than 5 minutes. You can easily automate your the steps and everything you can automate less than 5 minutes. You can see here. So that's the beauty of the UiPath, right? The capability. So we don't write any code. So we haven't write any code to launch your browser. We haven't write any code to put the data inside the text space. We haven't write any code to select the values from the drop down or handling their check items, right? So everything is there, and we can easily automate it, those behavior using UiPath by default activity. Just drag and drop it, right? And any selector, if you want to do modified, so you can go on UI Explorer app and you can modify those kind of selector. Simply just click on over here, click on edit target, and so currently it's disabled. So let me open it now. We need to first open the application. Yes. So if you want to modify any selector, so you can see that easily you can go edit target, and in UI Explorer app, this is the UI Explorer app, open it, right? And it will give the entire the view of these applications, and you can indicate your element again. So let's say this is for the let me check. Yeah, for the last name, surname. So okay, so we can open it. Okay, so you can repair it again. Click on here and you can repair. So you can see the problem here. This ID is getting changed all the time. This is the problem. So I mean, if you feel that this ID value is getting changed continuously, you can simply uncheck it, and those are properties items. Those are stable, or those are not getting changed all the time. So you can use. So let's say I can use a name as well. So it will not less chances to get changed. But the IDs and parent IDs, those things, it will the chances to it will get changed, right, randomly. So we can omitted those kind of items, just selecting on unselecting. Whatever we wanted, we can just select it. Whatever we don't want, we can just unselect it. So here I'm using the select. I have unchecked the ID, right, and select the name, because name is always stable. This item is always stable. So I have modified my selector again. Just validate now whatever we have added now, and just highlight. So yeah, it's showing me properly now. So you can see that it's very easy. So we don't need to go in traditional way, and we can have to, let's say, in traditional way, how we can handle. We have to go inspect the elements, right, and then we have to be see the entire HTML tree in this way, and then we have to be capture their XPath. So let's say we are indicating like this, okay, and then we are capturing their XPath. So it's using Selenium ID. So it's very difficult, right, to handle those kind of stuff, right? And again, go and validate again and again. So it's not easy. So that's why it will take much time, and it is not giving the a clarity whether this particular element it will work or not work. And so that's why UiPath is very strong. So they have the UI Explorer separate application. In that, using this application, you can automate any kind of the UI elements, because whenever you're dealing with the UI based automation, it is very important to handle the all kind of UI elements. If you're not able, if your tool is not able to handle all the UI elements, right, so it's very difficult to perform those UI automation. So and also these all the web-based application, it's all the time coming with the new technologies, right? New ways, right? And so again, to handle those new ways or new technologies, it is again difficult with the traditional automation. But in UI Explorer, what we have seen that your application with the whatever technology it has been built up, it doesn't matter. It can be go and it can easily inspect those elements. And maybe in some time it's not able to handle those things straightforward selector, then we have the image based selector as well. So using image based selector also, you can easily automate those things. So let me show you one more use case which we have to handle the image based selectors, right? So same in this these metrical applications, right? So I have to just check it. I agree this button or click on I agree button. Okay, so let's see the normal selector, and because this normal selector we're not able to get this inspected, then using image selector we can automate it. So let me show you these things as well. So again, let me create a new sequence separately. Okay, so image selector. Okay, and let's say I don't want to launch the application mine. Okay, I have to start from here as well. So you have but again here one more activity, attach window, attach browser. So we can use. So let's say we can go and search for attached browser, because I don't want to every time open the browser, launch the browser. Maybe wherever it is there is already.
Sorry guys, I think there is an internet issue from Amit's side. He is joining back. Let's wait for another 1 or 2 minutes.
And it's also inspecting the what is the app name, what is the title. So okay, so it's indicating itself directly. So let's see now. Okay, so to handle this checkbox, so I'm using click activity. So you can see it's not, I mean, it's taking entire these particular label as well. So I'm just clicking over here, right? And if I want to see that, I can edit selector and I can open to more modify, I can open UI Explorer, right? And I can change the property, whatever I wanted over here, right? So let's validate highlighting. So it's taking entirely string, entire the label over here, and let's run it. Okay, so you can see that. So it's clicking on these links, not in the checkbox. Okay, so because this the HTML property not able to get it right, so we can go with the image based selectors. We can go click image, and we can just capture this particular thing. Okay, let's run it now. So see, it checked now. So now it checked. How? Using image based selector. So this way, so some your element, right? It is not able, you're not getting a straightforward objects properties or okay, you're not able to handle. Then using image based automation, image selectors, we just go and we can just drag and drop and we can indicate very easily now. So you can say that without struggling anywhere or adding any extra code, right? We can go and we can less than minute. I just know this activity, I have to use it, and I can just crop those areas, and using image based selector we can automate those particular things, right? So this is the way why the UiPath is very strong and robust to handling your web application as well. Doesn't matter if you're getting any web pop-up as well, or sometime whenever we are browsing or we have to upload some files, right? So we are browsing the file from the file explorer and attaching the files, right? So and again handling those windows pop up also it's difficult. But again, it can be possible with the UI Explorer because it can be handled desktops applications selector as well. Okay, so yeah, so this is a part over here, and let me cover one more part is the object repository, which is very important part, right? So here we can, if you want to be create, I mean, if you're automating different screens of the objects, right, and it need to be used different test cases. So in this way, so I have already created one object repository. In this object, there's a two screen: create account and forget password. So the create account, whatever fields are there, first name, last name, okay, all these fields are there. So in this test case, okay, I have used it, all these all these object which I've already used it. So let me show you how I have used this object which is already created itself and how we can use it. So let's say this is the for example, first name, right? I have to handle the first name. So again, I can use a type into activity. Okay, and for this type into, so this is the first name, right? I have to be take the objects from the object repository which is already created. I don't have to indicate again and again all the time. Let's say I've already created it itself, right? I just have to be used from the object repository. So I can go, this is the first name, right, step. So I can just go in first name object I've already created. I can just drag and drop it over here. That's it. And my object, it will come out directly now. Simple. So I have my objects now. So you can very simply, whenever you want to use the objects, you don't have to go and indicate those element again and again. You can just go and drag and drop it, and you will get your objects. And similar object, it's there. You want to use on different test cases. Similar way, I don't need to capture again and again and drag and drop it here. And somewhere maybe in the application there's some changes in the particular screen objects, right? So I can just have to be go over here and my first name, it is there in 100 test cases, for example. So I don't need to go and modify all the 100 test cases. I can just go and modify the or repair the objects over here, and it can be injected over here directly, and it can be repair all the my test cases. So that is why UiPath is very good for the maintenance as well. Okay. So first of all, you will not get these kind of issues, right? Because the script is getting failure because of synchronization issues or delay issues or the dynamic pop-up handling issues, right? Because UiPath is already covered. So those scenario, it's very less chance to have those kind of failure whenever running automation. Only whenever new features are coming, new changes are there on the UI side or the functional test cases side, that only we need to be modified. But using the object repository, you can easily handle those UI level changes as well in the less time, right? So that's why maintenance time, it will take very minimum. And also there's a common workflow functionality is there, right? Using common workflow functionality, we can reuse the same code, same steps over different test cases as well. So this is the way we can automate the UI automations. Okay, so all the UI automation related activities are over here for the browser, get browser data, get URL, everything is there. Let me show you one more use case for the how we can extract the data as well, right? Which I'm talking about. It's very easy. We can extract the data. So let's see, extracting of the data. Okay. Data extractions. Let's say we have the Amazon. Let's say we wanted to extract all these iPhones, whatever data are there, prices and the descriptions, right? We want to extract this information, for example. How we can extract? Okay, so simple. I can go in UiPath. There's a table extraction. You can see this component. I can go and it is asking me add your data. So I can just click on add data. I wanted the descriptions. I can select the descriptions, right? I wanted to add the price. I can select the price, right? And yes, it's a new column, so that's why I've said okay. Let's have just the descriptions and the price only, okay? And the limit of extraction, you want to limit the with particular limits with particular pages or not, so you can set over here. So maximum rows, so let's say I just wanted to extract for the 10 rows only, okay, and just finish. And it asking, do you have to indicate on next button? So let's say yes, let's say I want to indicate on the next button, so you can click next button and I can just next button only, save it. Let me give for more maximum values, let's say 30. Save it. So you can see it's automatically create a sequence, automatically adding the application browsers, and this is your entire data extraction code, and which is stored in the variable. Okay, this is the variable. So this data is currently, which is a table and column representations are there, right? So this data is presented in table and column. So that we call a table or data table, right? So this variable is already added now. Okay, you can see the extract data table. It's automatically created, and the variable type is a data table. So here you can see the different variable types, string, integer, whatever you want. So you can see. So that's it. Okay. And now I want to see this data. Now this data is virtually presented in this data table, in this variable is storing over here. I just wanted to see this data. So I have to write in Excel sheets. So I can go and just write in Excel sheets. So I just have to use the write range activity. Okay. So let's me go to the workbook, write range. You can give your Excel path, or if it's already file is there, or you want to create, you can create. So I get in double quote, I can just give in the Amazon data, for example, data.xlsx. Okay, and the sheet name, let's say sheet 1. In sheet 1 get created, on which cell, what is the data table, right? You wanted to be at. So this is my variable, extract data table, same I have to use. So I just enter E and it's giving me over here. I can just use it, that's it. And do you want to add a headers? Yes, I can add the headers, and then I have to run it. That's it. So let's see now the executions. So you can, it's extracting and clicking on next button as well. Okay. Yeah, so the extraction has been done. So let's see the file. So you can refresh over here. You can see the Excel file. Yes. So the column 0, the description of your mobile, and the column 1. It's you can rename this column as well, and the price of your column. So you can see that how easily you can automate this data, right? In less than 2 minutes, you can go and without writing any code, you can easily extract those information. Okay. So sometime while doing the web application testing, right? Whatever data is present or is available on your web applications, and whatever data is available on your database. Okay, so we need to validate those data. It's so I mean it's A is equal to B. Right? In this way, we need to validate those data it's proper or not. For all to handling those scenarios is very difficult, because from the database you can easily fire the query and you get those data. But same thing you want from the web application side. To extract it's very difficult in scripting automation, but in UiPath you can just go and just extract those data, and you can easily compare those data, right? So this is where, and those kind of use cases or test cases which we have data comparison between one application to the another application, we can do that very easily. So this is the similar way if you want to extract any particular text as well. So that also you can do it with the this get text activity, right? So all these, so full text or partial text or with OCR text. So you can, so whatever thing which we are doing with the automation, all the solutions is already given by the UiPath with this activity. So that's why it's very easy to any persons, right? Without having any technical background, they can go, they just have to learn the tool from the UiPath Academy platform. They can learn this tool, okay, and they can automate their test cases very easily. Okay, so that's all about the sessions now. I mean, we have covered the how we can execute the web automation cases, how we can see the results in orchestrator as well. We have see how to create test cases and how to handle these different kind of UI elements, how to cover the image selectors, data extraction. So okay, so all these things we have covered in the very short time now, and very easily you can do in UiPath. I believe, right? Whenever seeing that, you guys also feel that you can also do it, right? So it's very easy, guys. Please try, right? In UiPath Academy, all these, if you want to learn it, you can go in UiPath Academy and you can learn all these courses, right? And UiPath community, it's a free edition is available. You can easily install on your machine, less than 5 to 10 minutes, and you can just start your automation builder without any configurations and other setups and adding any plugins and drivers. Okay, so yeah, I have seen the chat. There are lots of, I think there's some questions also are there, right? So let's start one by one to answering those questions. Okay, let's see what are the questions.
I replied few of them, except that orchestrator. So one of the participants has asked to, can we trigger this automation or this flow in orchestrator as well? Actually, he want to see that flow.
Can we?
Yeah, can we trigger this flow from orchestrator? So yes, it is possible. Yes.
So you mean to say they want to see the how we can schedule the test case to the orchestrator?
Yeah, no, how they can trigger this automation through orchestrator. Just want to see that.
Okay, trigger the, okay, fine.
Yeah.
Let me show you. No problems. Okay. So this is my test cases. I already added in the test sets. Okay. So you can modify your test sets over here. So you can select the machines, right, where you want to run, and select your projects, right? Click on next. In that particular project, if you want to run all the test cases or any specific test cases, you can select. So I just select this particular one test case only and just save it. Okay. So fine. And I need to change my test data to run this test cases. So I can go in my test data file. So my test data file in desktop, right? So let me change my test data over here. Email ID I need to be changed. So let me add some other email ID, for example, org. So all my test data coming from here. Okay. Let's close it and let me. So we can trigger execute from here. These test sets. Yes. So execution in a queue, and you can see that in this particular step, one test case is there and execution started now.
Yeah. Do you have any other questions?
Don't be shy, guys. Ask any questions in this particular demonstration or just in general relating to UiPath automation. Feel free. We still have 4 minutes left.
So, Sripad, when we will start creating the activity, we have test automation. So once we'll select that, we have given when and then structure. So that is built only for the BDD framework only. The concept of BDD is also same. So given when and then, where for the complete automation suite, we can configure it and use it.
Okay, so I can see Deepak, there are multiple questions in the chat. So let me answer one by one. So Madhav was asking, can you show the execution report? So yes, I have I've shown the execution report. But if you're looking for the HTML type report, so yes, that kind of report also are there. You get the HTML report. So we have one more session, right, where we're going to show the reporting part, right? So there in that particular session, you will see the HTML report, how it will get generated. Okay, but it's there. The capability in the UiPath, it's there. So I think Krishna, your question we have already covered, running the test case from the orchestrator. I think I know the designer, the name is designer, I don't know your name, but your question is already covered. Vivek is asking, is it possible to trigger the bot from the test manager using community edition license? The test manager, it's not about the community, but from the orchestrator and studio and robot, it is available in community edition. So with that, you can trigger your test cases. Okay. Then the check activity works for radio button. Yes, I think that Mushtaq I've already shown
Amit,
the check.
sorry, Amit. Just go at the end. There are a few questions at the end. Rest all I've already replied in
Okay,
chat
you have
section.
already replied. Okay.
So just 4 or 5 questions are. I think I unmute everyone. Maybe you can unmute yourself and start asking the questions directly, rather
Yeah,
than
that also fine. I think
yeah.
going through the.
Hi Amit, I have a question related to this one, CAPTCHA one. Can you show any of the example of how do you handle the CAPTCHA while doing web automation?
So you want to see the capture automation, how the capture we
yes.
can automate.
Yes.
Okay, so there are different kind of capture which we have a solution, right? So
Can you take
so let's say
the
capture
website?
with the sorry.
Can you take any of the website and can you show it? If you demonstrate, we
Trying to
can
cover
understand
everything
easily.
in within 1.5 hour. We are already extending the time. So trying to cover to every examples is not possible. But we can
Okay.
suggest some of the steps where you can achieve it, which Amit
Okay.
is already doing. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, and we have a solution, right? So you can connect with me on LinkedIn, right? And we will connect over there, and I will give you in detail offline how we can handle the capture. But yes, capabilities is already because there are different capture is available, right?
Yes.
And to handle those things, it's there in UiPath, and I will give those solutions, Santosh, offline mode. Okay.
Okay. May I know your LinkedIn profile name?
I already pinged you. I already pinged you in chat section. I'll ping you again.
Yeah, hi, Amit. Mushtaq here.
Yeah.
I have developed few workflows for which if I have to change, if I have to, make test case out of them. So like what you have shared in the beginning, each step had verification, right? So can you please show, at least let us know how to do that?
Okay. So let's say this is your step sequence, and this is the execution step. Whatever you want to do that we are performing, and in UiPath there is an activity. Let's say verify. Okay, this is activities there. Verify control attribute. Okay, we can go and we can use this activity over here, right? And exactly. So let's say I'm just entering the first name. So first name is exist or not. So I can use the element exist this activity and just saying if this activity giving the value in Boolean format true or false. If I'm getting if it exists first name and then it giving me a value as a true. So true is equal to true. It means my this verification or assertion has passed. So using this verify control attribute, you can check your assertions.
Okay, got it.
So the different operators also are there. You can go with the regex match as well, contains and all these operators.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah.
There's one question: can we extract the execution report from test manager? So currently it's not possible, but in future we'll definitely have this type of functionality available.
But you will get it. So in the framework, right? In the framework, you will get if you want to report in Excel sheet, you will get the report as well. You wanted to be in HTML format as well. That also you will get it report over the email. Not directly from the UiPath Test Manager, but through the UiPath Studio, we can configure those parts.
Yeah, hi, Amit. Actually, Deepak has answered my question, but I have one doubt. So it's regarding the exception handling. So yeah, if actually right now I'm implementing the test automation on the web application as well as desktop application. Can we implement the exception handling in the test automation, or if yes, then how?
So
Yeah,
there are
because
exceptions.
yeah,
Okay.
So if you are implementing that exception handling test case by test case, then it will take too much time to implement for every test case. So how can we implement it for the whole project? That's my
Okay.
question.
Good question, Sripad, you asked. So whenever you want to do make your automation more robust, it should be in proper framework, right? So similar kind, the UiPath have the RE framework. So you can leverage same RE framework. In the RE framework, exception handling is there. So you can integrate your test case in the RE framework. And there are two kind of exceptions, business exception and application exceptions, right? So it is already there in a framework. So you don't need to write the exception code for all your steps, right? So something your test cases, it is stuck something because of the system issues or a business application. So either it will retry or you want to retry maximum number of time, it will retry again and again, or you wanted to be, send an email to the concerned person, it will send an email as well. So depend on your requirement, you can handle at a framework level. So that is already there. So you can leverage the RE framework for the same, and you will get those solutions.
Thanks, Amit.
Hi, Amit. Balaji here.
Sorry, what's your name?
Balaji.
Balaji. Okay, yeah.
I just checked that verify control attribute in Studio, but I can't able to find it. Is not coming. Is there any packages we need to install?
Correct. So you can install this package, testing package, UiPath.testing, and you just have to install it, this package.
Okay, thank you.
It's there within a UiPath package manager itself. Okay.
Yeah, thank you, Amit.
Yeah.
Do you have any other question for anyone? Okay, if you don't have anything, let's move ahead towards Menti. So I will ping your Menti link. Please join the session so that and try to answer the questions. I pinged you the code as well. Once you click on this link, yeah, it will ask you to enter the code. So
yes. And one more thing, so we were continuing with this UiPath Test Automation series. So today we have covered the web automation. If you're looking for further chapters, right? So you can go and commit.uipath.com. You can see that upcoming event. You can explore by region and this test automation categories. Click on this category, and you will get these upcoming events. We can see now in 17 August, we have the desktop automation with the speaker Rajneesh, then mobile automation using UiPath. Again, me and my colleague Sandeep, we are again coming with the mobile automation, then API automation. Vartika is there. Then UiPath integration with ALM tool and reporting. So here, Swatika and I also presenting same thing. So here we will show you how we can handle the HTML report and how can integrate the your test executions or defect logging with the Jira or other test management platforms, right? Then the PUC is coming on the next chapter, very interesting, CI/CD. So you through a Jenkins, you can maintain your CI/CD pipeline in UiPath. It's very interesting chapter over here. And then finally, ask me anything on the test suite. So you can still have any questions after going through all this session. You have any other questions, so you can ask. So we have the separate session because you going through all these things one by one, and while doing offline, you're doing the hands-on as well. Again, you have some other questions, right? So for that, again, to connect, we have this final chapter over here. So here you can ask your question regarding the UiPath test suites. And also, apart from that, you have any question, you can reach out us on LinkedIn. We will help you. And you can go and do your, register those upcoming meetups. Okay.
Hello, Amit.
So,
This is
yeah.
Tachi. can you please suggest some learning links to learn testing from scratch? As a developer, if I want to learn testing, what will be my learning, please?
Good. For the learning point of view. So we can go. So UiPath having the academy.uipath.com, right? So this portal is there. So you can go. Let me give the link in chat, and you can update it. So here all the courses are there. So you can learn the different automations from this UiPath, academic portal. For the testing, also you can go to test suite categories, and you can learn mobile test suites. So all these things, test managers. Okay, if you're beginner level, you can go on beginner, and you can email automations, web automation. So all the kind of courses they have given very details, right? So you can go and you can learn very easily, and you'll get a certification as well, and after performing those courses.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
So hope everyone can see my screen. So we are directly jumping into the mentee session. Yeah, so everyone is ready. So use the code 76484999.
So question answer. So you will. So yeah, Deepak, can you just give some background about this question answer?
Let's wait for Andhar to join. Just 5 joined it. We have good goodies for this. So whoever will join this and participates all the questions and win first 4 prize, will send out some goodies.
Hi, Deepak. Actually,
Yes, Shripal.
yeah, I have joined this one, but I'm not able to see this question.
No, right now I'm presenting just web automation Q&A. Can you see my screen?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so it's still on the same page. I've not opened the questions yet. We're
Okay.
waiting for others to join it.
Yeah.
We have total 27 right now, yeah. So let's wait for another 1 or 2 minutes. Hurry up, join it again. The others are waiting for you. Okay, I'm opening the session right now. Yes. We have 13. Let's start for first questions. Which app can we use for the indication, modifying, verifying the captured object elements? So we have 4 options. So select the right answer. So you have just 10 seconds. Yeah. So right answer is UI Explorer, 9 out of 10. Answer right. Let's go to the next question. So this is the leaderboard. Vivek is reading right now. So next question will be, which activity we can use for handling text field? 4 options are type into, click, double click, and other. Right answer is type into. Let's see who all answered right. Again, Vivek is leading the board. Let's move to the third question. Third question will there we can store the objects and can reuse it. Answer will be storage, cloud, database, or object repository in UiPath. 11 right answer. Object repository is right one. Let's see the leaderboard. Again, Vivek is leading. No, this time Nicholas. So let's move to the next question. What are challenges in scripting web test automation? Options: handling pop-up windows, dynamic delay, writing code, and all of the above. Oh, only 6 right answers. Let's see the leaderboard. Okay, and next this time Sripad is leading. Last question. Which activity we can use for assertion verifications? Amit explained this one. So let's see how many right answer will have. Oh, only 10. That's great. Now jumping to the final leaderboard. Okay. Now top 4 will be Sripad, then 7648499, Siddesh and Madhav. Please share an email ID in chat box. Ping me your email ID.
Yes, guys,
We'll try to figure
congratulations.
out. Congratulations, Sripad, for leading this.
Thanks.
Okay, thank you everyone for joining this session. Please ping me your email ID so that we'll try to send the goodies to your mentioned email ID. We'll try to get your address from this email ID. Thank you for joining this sessions and have a great day ahead. And please RSVP for the next session so that whenever we'll join it from the next sessions we have for the desktop automation. So rest 2 email IDs I did not till now I did not received.
Yeah, so
Yes, please
you got,
chat. Yeah. Fourth one. I think Mustaq, please ping me your email ID. Okay. Okay, thank you again for making this session as an interactive, and stay tuned for the next sessions and feel free to share about this test series or test automation series on social media so others will also get benefited with this. Thank you again.
Bye-bye, guys.
Thank you.
thank you.